After only 6 weeks in office, Elizabeth Truss resigned as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Is the British economy so hard to fix that no politician is willing to help pick it up from the ashes? Well, in this video, we will take a closer look at the crippling economy and politics in the UK. Welcome to European Economics, where we take a closer look at the economic and political situation in Europe. Let's put things in context. The British economy took several hits in recent years, with the Brexit and the pandemic being the biggest ones. There has been a shortage of manpower as Europeans left the UK, which in turn caused a decline in tax revenue and revealed structural problems in the taxation system. To make matters worse, the pandemic further increased the burden on the economy. There is a decline in productivity growth, global investments, increased inflation, rising interest rates, and more. Experts suggest Britain could face a recession this year, and it may continue towards the end of 2023. Now that we have an overview of the situation in the UK, let's see who is dealing with it. The United Kingdom is facing political problems one after another as prime ministers continue to leave office. The most recent turmoil started when Boris Johnson resigned on September 5, 2022. Boris Johnson lost the confidence of his fellow MPs as a result of several incidents while he was the leader of the Conservative Party. Seeing him step down as PM and be replaced by Elizabeth Truss became a significant moment in British political history, making her one of the shortest ruling PMs ever. The question arises, why did Boris Johnson resign in the first place? Johnson lost the confidence and support of his colleagues because of a variety of factors. Firstly, he denied knowing about the Chris Pincher scandal, where his deputy chief whip was accused of groping 2 men and later admitted he did so. Secondly, the former prime minister and several MPs attended social gatherings despite strict lockdown rules during the pandemic, later dubbed Partygate. The poor economy and tax hikes also undermined his leadership, as did his actual ability to govern the country. Dominic Cummings described Boris as an out-of-control shopping cart. Upon resigning, Boris expressed, "I believe I am well placed to deliver a Conservative victory in 2024, and tonight I can confirm that I have cleared the very high hurdle of 102 nomination, including a proposer and a seconder, and I could put my nomination in tomorrow. There is a very good chance that I would be successful in the election with Conservative Party members, and that I could indeed be back in Downing Street. But in the last days I have sadly concluded that this would simply not be the right thing to do." After Boris Johnson, only a determined person could save the UK. On the 6th of September 2022, Liz Truss accepted Queen Elizabeth II's invitation to form a new government and begin her term as the United Kingdom's Prime Minister. Truss utilized Twitter shortly after being elected leader of the Conservative Party by winning over Rishi Sunak to express her thanks to her followers for putting trust in to lead and deliver for our wonderful nation, as well as to vow to take brave steps to help us through these challenging times, grow our economy, and unlock the United Kingdom's potential. Within a week of becoming Prime Minister, Truss had assured that she will announce some type of aid and assistance to help with the 65% increase in energy bills in October, despite her dislike of handouts. She promised to reverse the rise in national insurance taxes that occurred in April, Sunaks initiative which had been introduced in April. Truss had also declared she would prevent corporate tax from rising, reduce income tax and VAT by %, and provide a total tax reduction of around £30 billion all at the same time. To finance those programs, she planned to delay the repayment of national debt that built up during the pandemic. The promises went in vain when Liz Truss, who has served as the UK's shortest-serving Prime Minister ever, announced she would step down. Her 44-day stint ended when she quit on the 20th of October amid a fiscal crisis over her proposal to hike corporate taxes while lowering taxes for the wealthy. The plan was rejected by her party, and the turmoil used financial markets to drop for weeks, as well as sending them into a frenzy. Her plan was also opposed by the citizens. A recent YouGov survey showed that Truss had only a 10% approval rating among British citizens. Boris Johnson, who stepped down in disgrace in July, had an approval rating of 29%, according to the survey. A cap on energy bills proposed by Truss would have cost taxpayers $116 billion. At the same time, mortgage rates rose, the pound plummeted, and the bond market was thrown into chaos as a result of her decision to abandon a 45% tax rate on high-income earners. In September, the Bank of England took emergency action to prop up the bond market, fearing that pension funds might suffer and that inflation might increase as a result of the proposal. In October, the suspension of the emergency debt buying plan sent bond yields plummeting. Kwasi Kwarteng's dismissal was an additional contributing factor to her exile. Rishi Sunak, a British Indian politician, has now succeeded Truss and became the United Kingdom's new Prime Minister after winning the ruling Conservative Party's leadership contest. Now that Rishi Sunak is in power, he has to deal with the British economy, and the pressure to boost it is immense. The chairman of the Office for Budget Responsibility said recent data shows the impact of Brexit has been broadly consistent, and the GDP is expected to drop by 4% in the long run because of it, while an additional decline of 2% due to the pandemic is expected. On top of all that, Great Britain is also affected by the war in Ukraine. The Russian invasion of Ukraine is having a significant impact on virtually any economy, rendering forecasts obsolete. The UK faces higher energy prices, which will impact inflation, real incomes, consumption, and imports, while supply chain issues cause unexpected shortages of goods. The impact of higher oil prices on CPI prices is direct, while the utility household component is adjusted every 6 months for expected changes in wholesale gas and electric prices via Ofgem's price gap. Russia provides a significant proportion of the world's commodity supplies. Agricultural commodities are among Ukraine's most significant exports. Since the invasion, global oil prices have increased by 11%, and UK wholesale gas prices have increased by 40%. UK consumer confidence plummeted to its lowest level since November 2020 and March. An indirect effect on the UK economy is the result of the Russian invasion and sanctions reducing global output. Based on preliminary estimates by other independent analysts, the effects of the invasion are expected to reduce global GDP by 0.5% in 2023, relative to its pre-invasion path, before returning to it by 2025. The WTO's decision to revoke Russia's most favored nation status was taken before the economic forecast was finished. Since the UK has little direct trade in goods other than energy goods and precious metals, the direct impact is likely going to be small. As mentioned in the beginning, Brexit hindered the British economy as well, due to Europeans leaving the country, causing a shortage of manpower. This in turn affected the economy negatively as production and profits both decreased drastically. Now that Rishi Sunak is the Prime Minister, he has promised to do the hard job of stabilizing the economy. He has decided to fulfill the manifesto which got Boris Johnson elected back in 2019. In his speech, he promised leveling up and building an economy that embraces the opportunities of Brexit, where businesses invest, innovate, and create jobs, in a stronger NHS, better schools, safer streets, control of our borders, protecting our environment, supporting our armed forces. Whether or not Rishi Sunak and his team will be successful in their quest remains to be seen. One could only hope for more stability in Downing Street, as has been the case in the last few years. It's time to draw the curtains now. Feel free to share your thoughts on the current situation in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest news and analysis. We'll be back again soon. Thanks for watching.